What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And certainly in terms of excitement, there is not a more exciting team in world football to watch than Arsenal. It's never over with us. It finished Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2, and going into this match at Stamford Bridge, so much confidence from the fan base, hot on the heels of beating Manchester City for the first time in 8 years, into an international break. The confidence that we had going into this was augmented by the fact that for the first time this season, we got to see Martinelli, Bukayo Saka and Jesus up front. He went with what I thought was a really safe option of Jorginho just to calm the game down. Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard in midfield should have been strong enough, although there was a note of caution in that because with Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo, these are a Chelsea team way better than their form suggests and certainly better than they were all last season. And I've never been a massive Pochetino fan, but I've got to say, the work he's doing in putting the confidence back into these Chelsea players really looked like it was going to pay dividends today. Nothing from the lineup that I saw, nothing from the lineup was suggestive of the way we were going to start this match. The weather was miserable. There are no excuses. I know it's the same for both teams, but there was just something really lackluster about our performance. Across the pitch, we just were not controlling the midfield at all. Martin Odegaard, everything he tried to do today just did not come good for him. I know he had a really tough game with Norway, and I think he's carried that lack of confidence into this game, and he was it's probably the worst game he's played since last season at Liverpool, where he was just as anonymous. You have to hand it to Chelsea. They came out, they were first to every ball, they really played with determination, and then they get that penalty. Now, the first thing I want to say about this penalty is no complaints from me, all right? These are the rules. I don't think they should be the rules. I would prefer it if we had a system whereby it was hand to ball, not ball to hand, i.e. a defender has to actually reach for the ball or try and put his hand in the way of it. What actually happens in this is that Mudryk heads the ball onto Saliba's hand as he's jumping up. He's using his arm for leverage. He's clearly not trying to put it in the way. But we had this really weird situation where we all knew that VAR was going to ask the referee to go and look at it. And when he did, there really wasn't anything else he could do. And I want to say this because in the game against Tottenham, when the same thing happened to Romero, we took that penalty. We drew that game 2-2, partly thanks to us getting that penalty. And, well, I don't remember any of us complaining about it then. Although I did say at the time that I thought it was a soft penalty. And this one was just as soft. So when Palmer steps up to take it, there's that really interesting moment where Sterling tries to take the ball from him to take the penalty. Fernandez steps in and insists that Palmer should take it. What a signing he's been for Chelsea. And what a bogey player he's turning out to be for us, scoring that worldie against us in the Charity Shield and now stepping up and coolly taking a penalty. In fact, he was man of the match on the day. Great performance by him. But even at 1-0 down, you thought we would find a way to come back into this. I have to say that first 20 or 30 minutes of the first half just started to give me the creeps a little bit because Stamford Bridge is not an easy place to go. It doesn't matter. Form doesn't matter in games like this. You have to remember this is Chelsea, Arsenal, and it always turns into a great, and there's something exciting about this fixture. We did so well there last season to come away with a 1-0, but that was against the Graham Potter side that did not know what it was doing. Pochetino, like I said, has got them believing in themselves, and no more than Mudryk. At half-time, it was clear that we needed to change something. We needed to make wholesale changes. In the end, Arteta made only one change at half-time, and that was bringing on Tomiyasu for Zinchenko, who was having a bit of a mare, in fairness. I didn't think it was enough. I wanted to see Partey come on. I wanted to see us try and dominate that midfield. Second half, it looked like we'd started a little bit better and we were getting back into the game. And then Mudryk, cross, shot, whatever it is, it's a goal. It was just such a bad moment for David Raya. And that takes us to what is going to be one of the long-term talking points from this game. The decision to drop Ramsdale. Arteta's press conference where he talked about having 2 number 1 keepers. Ramsdale wasn't playing brilliantly when he was dropped, but we have now seen David Raya make enough mistakes in this match to last a season. You know, I don't think you can really expect Raya to start the next match against Sevilla. And if he does, you have to ask some pretty serious questions. Against Man City, he had those mistakes that weren't punished, and Arteta came out and said that he was glad he was making them. That's how he'd asked him to play. I don't think you can say that this time. In the press conference, when asked about it, Arteta was asked how he felt about the Arsenal fans singing for Ramsdale, and he said it was good, that he loved Ramsdale, that he wanted that competition in the goalkeeping places. Well, it kind of shone a spotlight that Raya didn't need on him today, and it could have been so much worse as well. A couple of times he did pull off a couple of great saves at feet from Jackson, particularly I'm thinking of. But overall, you've got to say the decision to play Raya instead of Ramsdale, it now looks like it needs to be revised. That's a discussion we can have going forward. Mykhailo Mudryk's goal against him, honestly, I know Pochetino said after the match that he thought it was a deliberate goal. Maybe it was, but it was just poetic, wasn't it? Of course Mudryk was going to score against us. I saw him play really well against Fulham in the first half of the game at Stamford Bridge. And I did worry that he might have a moment like this. Further changes were needed. Arteta did make them, but I've got to say, like, chucking everybody on the way he did, it was fantastic to see Emil Smith-Rowe come on. He didn't have a great game. Look, I'm going to do a more forensic deep dive into the tactics of this game. But overall, it felt a little bit like some of the problems we've been having have been down to either being over-emotional, too hyped up like we were against Tottenham, or today where we were just lacklustre, a little bit like we were against Everton last season, and we did not start well. What can you say about Declan Rice's goal that puts us back in the running, though? I mean, outstanding. Yes, it's a terrible error from Sanchez, and it's his poor pass that Declan Rice picks up. But he's got so much to do when he shoots that, curls it wickedly into the goal from distance. And at 2-1, I still don't think I was that confident. I still don't think I really believed. And when Bukayo Saka, who didn't have a great game by his standards, whips that ball in to the back stick, Gusto nowhere near it, and Leandro Trossard. And the thing about Leandro Trossard is he had 5 touches in this game. He made 2 pass attempts, 1 went away. He gave the ball away twice, but when he was needed, he pops up, back stick, slots it past a desperate Sanchez. I mean, both keepers were woeful today. And at 2-2, honestly, I didn't think I could take it. I just wanted the game to be over. But you have to credit us with that fight back. You have to say that going away to Stamford Bridge is not going to be the 3-point paradise for teams that it was. I know Man City play them soon and Tottenham play them soon. And for all the Tottenham fans out there laughing at the fact that we both played badly, I can't wait to see Spurs go to Stamford Bridge. They are going to get tonked. In the end, Arteta has to look at how he sent these guys out. I thought Declan Rice's interview after the match was spot on. Not only does he play like a legend, he speaks about the game like a legend as well. And he put it perfectly when he said that it was too sloppy in the first half. We were not quick enough to the second balls. We did not impose ourselves on the game enough. Not until all the substitutions had come on. Eddie Nketiah came on and almost scored. Kai Havertz a little bit anonymous. It felt like he was chucking everybody on. But somehow we managed to come away with a 2-2. We come away with a point. We're still undefeated. We go joint top of the table. Tottenham to play on Monday. I do think they're going to beat Fulham. Man City almost succumbed to Brighton right at the death, and they still don't look quite right. Liverpool with a controversial, though comfortable win over Everton. This is going to be a long season, and if we can dig out games like this where we are second best and still come away with a point and not defeated, well, it's 20 years since we were last invincible. Perhaps we can do it again this season. But the big talking points are going to be what happened to Odegaard. Now, I love Odegaard, and it's really unlikely that he's going to have 2 bad games in a row. Martinelli just wasn't quite himself, although he had one moment where he lost the ball high up the left wing and came back and retrieved it. But even then, once again, it was the second balls we weren't getting to. When we look into the tactics of the game, we can look into just what Pochettino changed that surprised us a little bit and obviously caught Arteta out. Overall, I think we all know how we felt at the end, and it felt like a victory. It was only a draw snatched from the jaws of defeat, but great teams do play to the very end, and the Chelsea fans would have felt this one hard. It has been toughest on the Chelsea fans. But I think they're in for a good season, and they should finish top 6 with the squad they've got, and the manager who... Look, I said it at the beginning of the game. I said it before the game. I don't think Pochettino's ever going to win the league with Chelsea. He's certainly doing a good job of turning around their confidence. And they have got a lot of injuries at the moment. They have a good side. We've just gone to Stamford Bridge. Long history of fantastic games between these two teams. So in the end, we might just come away with a point. But if you had to be a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan right now, you know who you're going to be. They were so excited to be 2-0 up against us. It meant so much to them, and we snatched it away from them in the end. And probably should have gone on to win it. Although, to be honest with you, with the 7 minutes of injury time came up, I wasn't thrilled about it, and I would have taken your hand off for a draw at that point. We've still got tricky fixtures coming up this season. We've still got to go to the Etihad. We've still got to go to Anfield. We've still got to go to White Hart Lane. There are going to be more moments like this, but if we can keep coming through, if we can stay humble, and the final thing that gives me confidence was when Arteta talked about the dressing room, because, come on, Arsenal fans, we were buoyant at the end. We were thrilled. We were excited. It had that feeling about it like a victory, even though it was a draw. But he talked about the fact that in the dressing room it was quiet, because the players would have known that they could have and should have come away with more. So, overall, lots and lots of reasons to be cheerful. But the spotlight now is on Raya, it's on Arteta and what he does for the game away to Sevilla. Because I honestly don't know how you can justify playing Raya at this point in time if the whole idea is to have 2 top quality goalkeepers. Anyway, it finishes Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. Stay tuned tomorrow for a tactical deep dive. Thank you so much for your support. I'm 7 subscribers away from the first milestone, which is 500. So if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe if you hate Tottenham. Till I see you again. Be lucky! Be Trossard. Lots of love.